Hey you guys, it's me Lamel from ADHD Aquatics, and today we are going to get up to some nonsense in the fish room again. We got baby ADHD on deck, and I got my special metallic Sharpie out. We are numbering the tanks, boy. Tank number 2, tank number 3. I figured it would be helpful to have each tank labeled somehow, but who knows if I'll actually use any type of system to track this. Yellow lab tank is going to be tank number 22. So remember that if that's your favorite tank. And from now on, when I film in here, I'll try to show the tank number before I film what's inside, so you guys can let me know, like, oh, that's my favorite tank, tank number 36, with the mystery snails and the shrimp or whatever. So we're going to do this. You can see where I used to write on the tank frames previously, but I used alcohol to clean them off, and now this is what we got. I wanted to use the silver. I don't really like gold, I'll be honest, but my silver Sharpie was all dried up, and we're almost done. I skipped ahead to the 50s. If you've been following me for a while, you know how many tanks I have in the fish room. So this is it, 61. That's the last tank. Now I have to adjust some of the airline. We have some tanks that I really just need to rebalance the system. After Mr. ADHD installed the drain and all this plumbing, my airline lengths got all messed up. So some of the bubbles are not coming out as fast or as slow as I'd like. I'm just using some pliers to pull it off of the little valve there. And then I have to put a whole new line on because this one was too short, but I'm using the same air stone, so I'm just taking the air stone off of that. And I'll try to speed some of this up for you because I guess you don't really need to watch me do all the airlines, but I am taking some of the airlines off and moving the air stones and making some of the lines shorter and some of the lines longer and cleaning the air stone a little bit so that we can get some appropriate flow. Now you can see here from the front, the Dojo Loach is tank number 27 is getting way too much flow, and the tank next to it, which I'm assuming is 26, is not getting enough flow. So I'm gonna have to adjust that later. And here I am trying to feed pellets to the rams again. This is the first male all the way on the right. He doesn't really seem interested. I came down later and it looked like he had eaten some of the pellets, but this one is doing pretty good. She eats the pellets all right. I'm really irritated at myself because I'm giving them too many pellets, and it's because I have like a giant pile of pellets in my hand and I'm just trying to sprinkle a couple of them in, but too much is coming out. So it's just kind of hard to do it while I'm filming, so I'm just gonna have to really like pinch out like 4 pellets at a time and just target feed that way, because I'm putting way too many pellets, and at the end of the night I'm having to come down here with a turkey baster and suck them out. But the rams are pretty shy. They're new to the tank, so I don't really expect them to come to the front to get the pellets yet. So I'm giving them a couple of hours alone with the pellets so that they can figure it out. I know they can smell it in the water. It gives them something to do in the meantime. And I also need to sex these gold rams, so if anyone's watching the video that knows how to sex them pretty well, I know the footage is kind of messed up because there's always a glare, and the gold ram's tank glass is not the cleanest. This tank's doing really well. A lot of the snails laid eggs on the glass, actually, which you might hate, but I would love to breed snails and be able to sell them. And I saw 4 shrimplets on the glass last night, but I couldn't record it because baby ADHD was kicking me while he was nursing, and I couldn't get a clear shot. But I love feeding the blue acaras. They're pretty skittish. Sometimes they'll freak out and like run into the glass, and then other times they come right to the front to eat the pellets. So I haven't quite figured them out. I'm guessing I need some dithers. The fish room's nice and warm, so he gets pretty sleepy. And I got some advice to add catappa leaves, Indian almond leaves, to these guys' tank. It'll help them with any type of skin infection, anything like that, just a preventative. Since their color is so dark, it's hard to see if they have something wrong with their skin. So this is just a prevention. Look at how much the tanks have already evaporated in one day. I am in the process of getting some lids for these tanks. I'm going to get polycarbonate lids. I had acrylic lids, and I thought they would be thick enough that they wouldn't warp, but I tested them out and they ended up warping. Acrylic absorbs moisture, and the side that's closest to the water will absorb the moisture and become larger than the side that's facing up, and that's why it warps. And I'm not going to sit here and flip the lids around and try and battle that. I'm just going to get polycarbonate lids. I know they won't warp because I have a polycarbonate lid that I got from Life with Pets. She sells, or he, I think it's a lady that runs the company, but they sell a divider kit that it's mostly marketed towards people that want to keep 2 bettas in like a 10 or a 20 gallon. And then they have the lids that fit on the Aqueon 10 gallon, 20 gallon, whatever. And I have a couple of those lids that I bought and tested out. And they are made from polycarbonate. So I'm going to go back to Professional Plastics and get polycarbonate lids cut. Thank God I already have all the measurements, and all the measurements are accurate. They do fit my tanks. And then I'm going to drill custom holes for the airline, feeding holes, and where the water comes in for the auto water change system. So I'm pretty excited for that. And the reason I can't use that, pardon this horrible videography here, but the reason I can't use that, what is it? It's like the greenhouse plastic. It's like a little zigzag, it's like corrugated clear plastic, is because I have 7 cats and they come in here and they will definitely step on it. And I don't want to use the stuff that's basically like plastic cardboard either. It's more flat because, again, the cats are like 20 pounds each. And I need something that they can safely walk on, honestly, because it's just going to save me a lot of headache. And I know people will say, like, oh, well, you can just keep the cats out of the fish room. And it's like, okay, yeah, but for the 1 or 2 times that they sneak in there, you know, I'm going to be having a problem. Okay, so now this is hours and hours later. This is like at nighttime, at like 9 o'clock at night. And I'm feeding these guys the bloodworms and the mysis shrimp like Scheller told me to. And this one is the most stubborn so far, but I think I actually seen him get a couple. I can see a bloodworm floating around near the air stone. And when I went to check on him a few minutes later, he had moved to a different spot. So I think when I'm not looking, he's eating the bloodworms. He might just be shy. I'm trying my best to keep these things alive, you guys, like sucking out the old food and like trying to only give them a couple little worms here and there. I'm double checking the temperature every day. I'm going to top them up with the water change system tomorrow after Mr. ADHD fixes a leak. I sprung a leak, you guys. I was doing some water changes and sprung a leak. I'm trying my best to keep them alive, and then as soon as I can get someone to watch the baby for a little bit, I can go ahead and cut those pots and give them some appropriate hiding places. Until then, I feel kind of bad that they don't have anywhere to really hide, but as soon as I get something in there for them to hide in or behind, I'm sure they'll feel a lot more secure. And I've been dreaming up about this 20 long that I have that I want to put the pairs in for spawning. I'm pretty excited. I was thinking we'll do some sand and we will cut some pots and put a couple of flat rocks. Here I am sucking out some of the, oh no, I was just showing you the pellets, the leftover pellets. This is the second male that I have. He's also pretty stubborn. The females are doing pretty good with taking the worms and eating the pellets and coming forward to see me a little bit, but the males are being a little bit shy and stubborn. I think he's trying to pick at something, but obviously he just bit the air stone. Look at how low the water level is. It's insane. It's crazy. But look at what I found while I was up here. I had the vantage point, you guys. Secret mystery snail egg clutch. This is the first time I have had a mystery snail egg clutch in like 6 years, you guys. I had the 75 gallons set up in the kitchen upstairs in like 2016, and I had mystery snail eggs like once. And ever since then, I haven't been able to keep mystery snails alive. I'm so grateful that Wayne gave me some mystery snails. I guess one that was already pregnant and just laid eggs right away. I am so grateful because I really, 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 really want to breed these. Apparently they can be pretty lucrative to sell online. These 2 rams are doing pretty good. Let me know if you can sex them from the video footage. I'm pretty sure the one on the left is a female and the one on the right is a male. But they also may be too young to tell. And I'm just going off of the little spines, the little spikes that they have on their dorsal fin is the one on top. I know the males have like an extra one, or it's like extra spiky or something. I don't know how to explain it. The flagfish are doing great. They've been coming out more and more. I see them, they kind of go around in like a group and pick at the algae. And this is the first time I think I'm trying to give them some of this frozen food, and they took it. And I was pretty excited for that because I would love to grow these guys up pretty fast and fatten them up and be able to spawn them and have little baby flagfish, especially since they are one of the only species that will eat hair algae. They could be very marketable, and if I play my cards right, I might be able to make some sort of profit with those. Plus they're super cute. Here's the betta emballus. I've been thinking about separating them because I hear a lot of horror stories about betta sororities. I have 3 in a 40 breeder and a guppy as a dither, and they don't seem too aggressive, but I do see them flaring at each other, and I just don't want them to get egg bound and die. I think I really should separate them until I can get a couple males imported in from Thailand so that I can spawn them. I know a couple people were on my waiting list for these guys, and they've been waiting for like a year and a half, but they're so beautiful. I just don't want them to die. So here I go. It's the end of the night and I'm sucking up the uneaten food. And I don't know, you guys might get mad at me for like cross-contamination or like thinking that it's gross, but I take that food and I put it into the tank with the yellow labs and they eat it up. And they're bigger fish and they're more comfortable with me, even though they are skittish as a species in general. They still will come up to the front and eat, and they pick all the food out of that little gravel pile right there. So I'm not too worried about it. And I'm going to give the rest of the bloodworms to the blue acara, electric blue acara. You see how the one in the back right was like super skittish and like is throwing himself into the glass? I'm like scared they're going to swim right out of the glass or like give themselves a concussion or something. I don't know how to stop them from that. This is a bumblebee cichlid, I think it's called. Please feel free to correct me in the comments. He's doing really well. I had started with 5. The intention was to breed them, but now that I only have 1, I kind of don't want this fish anymore because I'd rather use that 40 breeder space for something else, and I don't want to cross him with the yellow labs. So if anyone in the local area wants him, you can have him. I kind of just want to do the yellow labs. I don't really want my whole fish room to be like African cichlids, because the options were either get 4 more of those and try to breed them and grow them up, or rehome that one and then just focus on the yellow labs. Yellow labs are super pretty, and I don't want to mess them up by like mixing them with the bumblebee, and like then you have like a bunch of weird looking like half yellow lab, half bumblebee. So let's handle that mystery snail clutch, shall we? Here we go. Don't ask me where I got all those betta fish cups, because I'm not too proud to admit why. So I'm just getting a paper towel that's folded up, and I'm going to squeeze some water out. We're going to keep it a little bit damp. I think it would be a good idea to float it in the aquarium that it came from. Just remove the clutch. If you're ever trying to do this and you touch the clutch and it's a little bit too squishy, don't pick it up. Only pick it up once it's like kind of hard, and it'll make like a crispy sound when you go to pull it off. See, I know all about mystery snails. I just can't seem to keep them alive, so I'm pretty excited to be able to hatch them out in my water, though. Their shells will look super nice being in the same water all the time, and I'll finally get to use the food that I ordered from Crayfish Empire Mystery Snail Guardians. It was like a DIY Snello mix. I'm pretty excited for that, and like snail cookies and all that sort of stuff. So I was just dripping a little bit of extra water in there. Here is the big mama responsible. She looked like she was kind of stuck behind a rock. I moved the rock before I grabbed her, but I wanted to kind of get her out of the way. And then we just put a little lid on so it doesn't evaporate and dry out. And that's it, you guys. We'll see you next time, and have a good night. And don't forget to feed your fishes. Bye for now. Peace.